So I've really been struggling with this writing project that I'm working on right now. And I realized what I used to do in this situation when I would get stuck is I'd go on a vigorous jog. And inevitably, almost every single time, 10, 20 minutes into my run, I would crack the block. I would solve the problem. It would all just unravel, the maze would unravel, and the answer would present itself. And I've fallen out of that habit since I moved out here because it's just not obvious where one would jog. There is a road, but as you can see, conditions aren't always ideal. I've done more hiking, long walks, that kind of exercise, but it's not the same. It just doesn't free up my mind to wander in the way that just a flow state run will do for me. So I'm gonna try to get back into this habit. So I've got my trail running shoes, which have pretty good tread and they're waterproof. Question now is, do I try to do it on this icy packed road or do I go off trail and struggle? Unsurprisingly, I picked struggle. Oh my God, I'm grotesquely out of shape. I haven't run at all, more or less since I moved out here. I've just been hiking and walking, which is not the same at all. So right now I have a little bit of a trace leftover trail from last time I walked out here, which I'm following best I can. Trying not to break an ankle in my thin little trail shoes. I'm now at the end of my daily walking trail, facing the unknown. Probably should have brought some bear spray or something if I'm going into the woods. There are bears out here, though relatively rare. More importantly, as mountain lions, which, yeah, I definitely need to keep an eye out for that. Very surreal landscape. This whole plateau was raised by a fire several years ago. So all the old growth is gone, and it's just these little perfectly symmetrical trees coming back up to replenish the land. There's something very alien about how perfect everything is. It almost feels artificial. Like a badly designed video game level. Just a thin crust on top of the snow here. If you push down too hard, you sink through. Basically, really hard to run. In the tradition of classic found footage horror films, I'm keeping my camera running so that when the mountain lion attacks me, you can watch it in all its detail. I'll make sure to get like a good final shot of its mouth chomping down on the lens before we cut to credits, okay? It's actually smart of me to make comments like that on this video, because that ensures that it won't actually happen, because the universe doesn't like to give me, perfect narrative irony like that. So if I lampshade what's going to happen, then it won't happen, right? So it is actually possible, if you step just right, to stay on the surface of the crust. It's a fascinating sensation when you're crunching down through the deep snow and then you hit the sweet spot. You start to levitate, you stay on the top. It's like, it's like walking on water. I feel like Jesus. This is what's on the other side. That over there somewhere would be Seattle. Somewhere over those mountains, Cascades. A nice barrier protecting us from Seattle's illness. No offense, guys, friends, people over there. wish you luck. Actually really interesting, the dynamic out here between the local folks in Seattle. There's like, it's kind of the classical country city divide, but I don't know, more specific out here. It's not exactly, you know, hatred, but there's a strong sense that people who live here are very intentionally avoiding what's over there. A lot of it's, you know, the typical political talking points about, you know, liberalism and all that stuff, which I kind of have stepped away from. I feel like it's no longer my fight. I'm more of an observer right now. But I don't know, it's interesting. There's a lot to learn from different perspectives. Apple? That really was more of a hike than a run. I find the difference to be that hiking is more contemplative. It's a slow pace. I have to spend a lot of brain power thinking about where my next step goes, for example. And that doesn't allow my brain to wander free like I want it to do when I'm trying to solve a problem. So, well, I was about to say I'm going to try running on this road, but as we just saw, it's not really suitable for jogging. I think I'm going to need to invest in some sort of ice shoe because that's not cutting it. Unfortunately, that was not the magic bullet I hoped it would be. I did not instantly solve all the problems of this project. I do feel invigorated. I do feel a little clearer, which is progress. I think a big part of what makes these runs work for me, what used to make them work for me in my city days, is that they were mindless. I had a route that I went on and I just went. And sometimes I'd take deviations and take little detours and, you know, go through different neighborhoods and such. Hey, bud, you want to be in the show? But mostly it was just like I knew where I was going and I'd go, and that would free up my mind to do what it needs to do unimpeded by thoughts. And I think that's one of the big differences with running and hiking, is that hiking you have to be more aware of your surroundings, and I kind of do here too. So I don't know, requires further research, but this whole life out here is kind of a work in progress. There are a lot of things that I haven't really nailed down yet, things that aren't quite working for me. As you can see, it's my whole living space is just a cluttered disaster. As aesthetically nice as I try to make it, it's still a very cramped little space. But yeah, one step at a time.